Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the 10 Count Podcast brought to you by Bodyslam.net. It's your boys, Justin and Ty. And if you haven't been on our YouTube channel today or yesterday, the Righteous interview is now free to everyone through our YouTube channel. If you want to go check that out, head to the 10 Count Podcast YouTube. Please go subscribe. We would love to have you subscribe to our channel, support us in any way, and that would help us a ton. And I mean, the interview is stellar. Those two men are geniuses in their craft. We asked about them working with Karrion Kross. They said it could happen in the future, and the future's now, people. If you live under the rock and you didn't know, we had the Righteous, Karrion, and Scarlett in the ring together, and it was pretty epic. What'd you think when you saw that? Because I was going crazy inside.
I tried to. It's funny because I ended up missing. They were all in Defy Indie Wrestling in Seattle, so I was finally able to find a stream later on in the night, and I was watching, and I got to see Killer Kross's match. I didn't know that the Righteous appeared before that, like as a surprise. I had no idea until the next morning. So I was like, oh, like shit. Like I tweeted about Killer Kross. Obviously he was scheduled for a match. I was like, God, now I feel like an asshole. But got to see that. And then obviously they're booked on the same show in New Jersey, Killer Smoke show. And they come out to help. The Righteous come out to help Killer Kross and Scarlett. And they just look at each other. They shake hands. They have they face the hard cam together. And hey, man, I mean, I don't know if they knew that they were doing that. I would tend to believe that, you know, obviously secrets are meant to be kept. But if you listen to the podcast, Vincent said, like, he believes that it will happen. They'll work together. And sure as shit, come Sunday, there they are in New Jersey, and they come out to help Killer and Scarlett. And now we have to pay attention, though, because we have to pay attention to the future bookings and see if this starts to slowly become a thing.
I hope it does. I mean, I'm excited to see them hopefully craft promos together, because the things we've seen from the Righteous already, plus with Killer Kross, I mean, it's just 3-4 masterminds that are just gonna, shoot the shit, come up with some, genius ideas of how to captivate the fans and really bring people in, and they're gonna do it. I mean, I'm excited. Speaking of the indies, I know you showed me Matt Cardona put out his version of Unreal, which was unsigned. Can we talk about Matt Cardona for a little bit? I know we're going to go into predictions for No Mercy in a little bit. I know I told Justin we were going to start with it, but now I'm going down a tangent. But I tried to watch it through the day, and I loved it. I think, obviously the man was ahead of his time when it came to WWE. Was he true long on story? The man is literally, he's self-proclaimed and is the internet champion, and he always will be, especially if he keeps doing things like this. And we saw Killer Kross in there. He was giving the nod. You know who else we saw in there? Matt Tremont sitting there enjoying the DeLorean, man. Ever since Bear Bronson really brought him up in our pod, like, now I see Matt Tremont everywhere. And that man's a awesome dude, super nice. Like, even Cardona's like, this dude puts his body on the line in the most violent ways, and he's nerding out over the DeLorean. Like, it's so cool. But I just want to give props to Matt Cardona for doing what he does, taking the internet by storm. And it made me, even believe in him more and how he is changing the craft in indie wrestling. And I hope the best for him in the future.
I just want to say that now 2 of our guests, friends of the show, Bear and Matt Tremont, teamed up together. We heard that, Matt Tremont said that they were going to. I was able to watch the match. It was amazing. It was against Joey Janela and Dr. Redacted. Awesome to see. Like, it's kind of cool. I don't want to geek out, but like to know that like we took time and we've interviewed these guys, and now they're teaming up together. It's super cool to see, especially with knowing how Bear thinks of Matt Tremont and now how Matt Tremont thinks of Bear Bronson. Yeah. It's cool to see it happen. But But speaking of Cardona, going back to Cardona, should I say, the guy always knows what to do. It's like the right time, the right moment, everything. Just he knows how to work the internet, and I will do the perfect leeway into. I mean, not really No Mercy, but there's a TNA invasion angle that's finally happening. We've been discussing it. TNA invaded NXT, and the first person that they showed with the cam, the solo shot, was the complete Matt Cardona, and the NXT crowd went crazy, as rightfully so. I've been begging for Matt Cardona to be back in WWE. Obviously, Chelsea Green comments, tweets that, oh, with the eye emojis of showing Matt Cardona on WWE TV for the first time in, God, I don't know how long. I'm hoping, like, I have my own drawn out like script for how this goes, but I hope this is just the beginning for Matt Cardona being back on WWE TV, because God, it feels so right to just see him there, and he deserves it. He 1000% deserves it. He's been working his ass off on the indies, and finally he's back on WWE TV. And I don't know if he's not signed with TNA, he's not signed with WWE, so he's still just this indie god, just now in the mix of TNA and WWE, and I love it.
Yeah, and first off, Zach, happy National Mother Effing Comic Book Day. I can pull them all out. I got you. It wasn't even by plan. It was just because I have comic books everywhere, and I'm a freaking nerd, and I'm in the middle of a move, so I have everything everywhere near me. So Zach, thank you for that. Happy National
You got you, Zach.
I was prepared, non-purposely for that one. Going back to Cardona and NXT, I was surprised to see Cardona because, like you said, he's not a full-blown TNA guy. And, I think the opportunity probably got in his lap. Why not bring Matt Cardona in as a TNA person? He does do work for TNA here and there. We got to see him at Slammiversary, which was really freaking cool. So he does, weave that line of TNA. And I think, why not? Why not bring him back to WWE TV? Why not see the reaction that he gets, especially on NXT and WWE right now? And it just benefits both TNA and it benefits as well as NXT and WWE just to see him. I think he's super excited, especially being shown that way. This freaking thing is popping up on me. Ignore those things going on. But yeah, I want to see why they highlight him first. I want to know what his involvement's going to be. We saw him throwing fists with, I think it was Javon Evans in the corner, I think we saw. But I can't wait to see what he has to bring to this invasion angle. We were talking about this months ago that we wanted this, giving back to vibes of, WWE versus the WCW, ECW alliance. This is what we've been craving. They're giving the people what they want. And I think it's going to start even more at No Mercy. We saw the brawl. The brawl was awesome. I was curious to know why they were doing a winner-takes-all match between Oba and Trick Williams. I kind of had a feeling that if there was going to be TNA guys there, you mentioned it to me that they're probably going to be in the building, that it was going to be it was going to be disqualification, and this was going to happen. So I'm excited. I didn't want them to have a one-stop shop as a champion for TNA and NXT. I think that would have been a little dumb. But let's talk about the intros to NXT, the people walking in and the things we saw when they were making those entrances, like seeing Cardona, seeing, I forget who else, but that was a cool little twist. Did you notice that? Did you see that in the beginning?
Yeah, Cardona was obviously in the background of Oba. I was actually going to say that it's one thing that I kind of didn't like. I don't like how all these TNA superstars were just able to walk in. Like, sure, you saw the whole thing where Ava wasn't available. She wasn't there that night. And clearly there's, this partnership. So they were on the phone with Ava and they were like, hey, there's a bunch of TNA superstars here. Did you invite them? And the phone broke up. So I get it, but I would have liked to see them just like storm the gates, like really full on, like DX knocking on the doors of Monday Nitro.
Yep.
I would have liked to see that better. Like, sure, like it was cool to see all the backstage promos, just let's say like Fatal Influence, or even I'm blanking on whoever else had that backstage but then you see like Mance Warner and Steph Delander in the background, just kind of creeping in the back. So you saw who was there. I just would have liked to see it be more aggressive. Like, sure, we got to where we needed to be. Did the CW cut it off? Yeah. And I like that Tommy Dreamer actually put out on X. He said, I classic like CW cutting it off at the 10 o'clock mark. Whoever has the full footage of how that ended, like, I'll send you a t-shirt or something, just to show that TNA after that brawl was in the NXT ring on top. Cardona's shirt ripped off, and they were just screaming like, all right, let's go. Let's go. Randy, once again, I don't know how many weeks in a row this is, my guy, but howdy on Facebook. We appreciate you for tuning in.
Always. Thank you.
But yeah, I had my thoughts about it. I obviously this is what we wanted, but I thought I would have preferred more of a storming of the gates, rather than them just being able to walk in right through security and everything be la-di-da.
Yeah, I think you have a point, because with that play, right, either storm the gates or a stealthy invasion, have them not aware that this is going on, then have them pop up in all these different spots in the crowd and have those shots happen. It could have been better, yeah, 100%. But I still liked it. I think, especially the payoff with seeing that image, because obviously, as you mentioned, the CW cut it off with TNA in the ring as the winners of the first battle. I thought that was really cool. They're sick of the NXT bullcrap. Trick Williams has their title hostage, and they want that back. And I think we're going to see Santana take that back. And I think, maybe we'll see some defectors. How cool would that be? Maybe Joe Hendry defects to NXT.
Stop!
I'm taking your points.
They copyrighted Invasion.
Yeah.
So it's coming out. Like, I'm hoping there is an Invasion PLE. WWE trademarked it already. But I was going to ask you, before we get into No Mercy, or after, should I say, whatever you want to do, I wanted to fantasy book how this Invasion angle is going to go, and you might have just spoiled it at the what are we at, the 13-minute mark? I think you just spoiled my whole idea there, but continue.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential, especially in these kind of angles, and trading off. Who knows whose contracts are up or not? Who knows if they can just trade these contracts willy-nilly if they wanted to, or even if it's just for a short time during these Invasion angle, right? So I would love to see people defect. I just see what they did back in 2000, 2001, and it was just so much fun seeing who was going to trade, who was going to not, who's going to, pull the big Chris Jericho to Stone Cold Kurt Angle to Stone Cold with the title into the Rock Bottom to seal that Survivor Series. I want them to reharness that lightning and just have it as a huge fan fest. I can't wait. I really want it. I hope they do it right. And I feel like they are. And they need to let this run for a little bit, like a few months before they kill this off.
Yeah, no, 1000%. And if they do end up going that route, I think it's on record that Joe Hendry, you just mentioned him, I think his contract's up at the end of this year, so you only have 3 months left. So I'm sure this Invasion angle is going to go through throughout the year, at least. I think there's reports out saying that it's going to go into early next year. There's some TNA dates in Orlando. They don't have a venue booked yet, so that's kind of light bulb over the head. Oh man, are they going to take over the NXT arena? Are they?
I would love that.
It would be unbelievable. Imagine the NXT logo crossed out with TNA, and you have just everyone just invading. They're shooting at it's not at Full Sail anymore, but wherever they're shooting now. And then I love what Stephen Chambers is saying. TNA Bound for Glory, October 12th. TNA is taking over. I don't doubt it, especially after what we just saw. Tonight is the go home show. Is the go home show to No Mercy's coming up. I'm getting all confused now. But let me go back to my original point. Jordan Grace on X has been like trying to like play it cool. She's like, oh, I see what's going on here. Jordan Grace is a perfect person to think about. Obviously, former TNA superstar, former world champion of TNA. She might try to play it cool. Who knows? If we need a Jordan Grace heel turn, you have it right there. If people aren't digging her as a face, her joining is perfect. And then, like you said, Joe Hendry is just another one that he can turn on TNA. But then is that like a face move for the NXT crowd? I don't know. I don't.
I feel like people aren't going to get mad at Joe Hendry unless he went full heel route, because he's already, they're already teasing him with the NXT crowd. He's showing up pretty much weekly at this point. NXT superstars are saying his name, or maybe he's just sits in the middle. And if TNA says his name, he's helping TNA. If NXT says his name, he's helping NXT. Like, I can see him sitting in the middle because of his gimmick, because of how they're kind of portraying him in the NXT universe right now, where he's, helping whoever's calling his name out. So I could see him kind of maybe playing in the middle, because if they wanted to stay a face, that's the perfect way to do it. People are just going to giggle at that moment of Joe Hendry helping someone, and then people are saying his name and he's popping up different sections of the show. I think the potential there is really high.
But it's like Joe Hendry lost the TNA world title to Trick Williams.
Yeah.
And now really he's been kind of falling. He hasn't been shown as much on TNA programming. There's got to be a reason for that.
Oh yeah.
Like I think there might be a match of Hendry and Eric Young coming up, but there's a reason why Hendry is just constantly on NXT television. And sure, the logistics are that everyone and their mothers know that once his contract runs out with TNA, he is going to sign with WWE. And now they're just pulling this angle. But they can also pull it off like, oh, is he the Trojan horse that sneaks into camp? And is he the one that's just been all friendly with all these NXT characters besides Dark State? And then he goes back to try to help TNA.
Unless TNA decides to do him dirty and just kicks him right out from the get-go. And be like, you're doing, we don't trust you. You're in there in the enemy territory every week. You're not one of us. And they could kick him out. And that could be the perfect way to keep him face. And I want to talk about what Steven Chambers said. Javon Evans, Leon Slater, X Division Championship. I mean, I think it writes itself. That, to me, is a guaranteed PLE match within the next few weeks or a few months with this Invasion angle. I think it's going to happen. It just makes sense. Those two will put on a freaking clinic. I mean, they're both the future of their companies. And let's be real, Leon Slater could be a future in WWE as well. So I think that match writes itself. I think that would be a complete whiff if WWE and TNA does not take advantage of a Leon Slater, Javon Evans championship match for the X Division Championship.
I'm just so excited. And this goes on almost a year. Like, if you go back into our library of us saying NXT has been the most fun to watch in well over a year.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen on NXT. Sure, Raw has its moments, SmackDown has its moments, but they also flop. I can't recall an NXT episode that has flopped ever since this whole partnership has come about, because you just don't know who to expect. You have Frankie Kazarian out there. You have Mance Warner. You have Steph DeLander. You have the Iconics back, or the Inspiration. It's just so much fucking fun.
The funny thing is, I think it's because TKO is so invested in Raw and SmackDown and those PLEs that Shawn Michaels just has complete control over NXT. And that's my complete opinion on that matter. I think Shawn Michaels, is kind of sneaking under, doing his thing, pushing out good content, especially if they're hearing that NXT is amazing. They're not going to touch that. Like, all right, let them, keep doing what they're doing. But they're going to, pinpoint on Raw and SmackDown. Even ESPN is. If you look at what happened with Wrestlepalooza, they were not happy, and they mentioned it. You know, I think it's, and to me, in my opinion on that matter is, we heard of some possibilities of how WrestlePalooza matches were supposed to end and they didn't. It was said that Cena was supposed to win, Brock was supposed to lose, which would have made more sense. I think that, I don't think we heard that Cody Rhodes and Drew pitched Cody to drop the title for Randy to accidentally screw him over. I think that would have done wonders. I know Court would kill me if she's listening to this right now for me saying this, but those two things happening would have completely changed that PLE. And in my eyes, I could be completely wrong, and I might, but this is my opinion as well. I think ESPN wanted Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes to win. I think they know how big those characters are. I know, granted, Brock was going against Cena, but I think they want to kind of, save Brock when you don't need to save Brock. We've seen Brock take beatings. We've seen Brock lose quickly, and he's still the beast that he is when he shows back up, whenever that may be. So I personally think ESPN wanted those outcomes, and this is what we got, and now they're kind of complaining about it. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I see it.
Yeah. Wrestlepalooza was missing the big surprise.
Yeah.
Like, sure, it was awesome to see AJ Lee return. She looked great. Props to Becky Lynch for everything that she's done. She has done the return of Nikki Bella, Trish Stratus. Remember when Trish came back? Like, that whole thing. Like, Becky Lynch is a professional through and through. She's amazing. So shout out to her. But I think they kind of wanted to just sit on the fact that AJ Lee was returning. You had Brock's first match back, but you needed the surprise aspect, and they didn't come through with it. You had Hunter go out there and say, expect the unexpected, but that's his slogan. That is a Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque thing through and through. Expect the unexpected. You don't know what's going to happen. Nothing really happened, dude. There was no shocks at all. And the show would have been much better, I think, I was teasing it to Court in our group chat with her. Cody should have dropped the title.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He'll win it back. Don't worry. But main event, he should have dropped the title, and that would have put the shock factor into Wrestlepalooza. To me, Wrestlepalooza was just another PLE, and I don't understand the whole WWE getting mad at ESPN or whatever it was about the review, because the review's truthful. The guy works for ESPN. He works on writing reviews about wrestling shows, and he's right. It was pretty subpar. I'm not gonna lie. I'm with him. I'm totally with him.
I think that we mentioned it last week. The fact that John Cena should have attitude adjusted Brock Lesnar to hell and back and pinned him like it was nothing. To me, that would have been shock value, right? You have a little back and forth, and then John just keeps AA after AA and do what, Brock did to Cena, but the vice versa. I think that could have came full circle for Cena, because when Brock finally came back after how many years, that's what he did to John. Suplex City, that's when that all started. The shock value of Brock Lesnar just putting a clinic on John. And I think that could have happened opening match if John did that to Brock back. We don't see that. Maybe they're lining up for a second match. To me, I think that's pointless. But we're getting AJ and John at, Crown Jewel, which to me, I love. I think John kind of played his hand to Triple H on social media, and this is what we got. And I'm excited for it.
Yeah. I think it came out saying that, this match was always booked for Crown Jewel, but they wanted to play it this way, showing John Cena saying, "Oh, you're not going to get all these matches because of the limited," and just trying to get the crowd and the fans to support it. So, good for AJ Styles. I think it came out today. Actually, he said on a talk show that he's planning on definitely retiring in 2026.
Yeah.
So he says that he sees himself working with WWE past that, but probably in like a producer, also, training role. Sean Twice here on YouTube says, when does AJ Lee wrestle again? I would assume Survivor Series, they'll probably build up to a match with her and Becky for the
You don't think they'll do it?
Intercontinental.
You don't think they'll do it in Perth for the Women's Intercontinental Championship?
Yeah, I guess Perth. I was thinking Perth or Survivor Series.
I was thinking that because Becky's like, I'm going to go make this right. And
yeah, I was just thinking like I want the build to be a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But Steven's saying Saturday Night Main Event possibility October 1st. I don't see that because whenever it does happen, I think AJ is taking the title from Becky.
Yeah.
Perth is a good call. It's either Perth or Survivor Series. Perth probably now that I'm thinking about it because now AJ's full time. So I would say that they're going to build up to it. Obviously, Becky tapped out. She was on X saying that clearly she had a bug fly into her eye and she was trying to get the bug out. So Becky just doing what Becky does best. Yeah, so probably Perth. And then we also have in the chat, Wrestlepalooza is like watching Raw and SmackDown. Steven, you're truthfully not wrong. I was pretty disappointed in the whole thing, especially even getting it, because I'll just put it out there. I thought that I was going to get to watch it for free. And because it wasn't technically in my Verizon subscription, I actually, yeah.
They got you.
Can
I tell you how I got it?
They did get me. So I'm learning now because I didn't get to start the show. I told you I got to start it late. I only started it live at the main event. So I was like, oh shit, like what the hell am I gonna do? And they got me for 1 month. They got me. It will never happen again.
Do you know how I watched it?
No, how?
I was scrolling through TikTok while I was watching All Out, and I had All Out on that website you showed me. So I was watching that on my one phone, and then scrolling through TikTok. This girl was live streaming Wrestlepalooza, and I'm like, thank God. She did not get banned. She was live the entire time. So I got to just write off that girl's $30. It was awesome. You know, she had some comments during it that were just annoying, but I was seeing past it because it was free. It was like buying those old bootlegs where you had people walking across the screen. I was like, you know what? I'm enjoying it. I can watch it for free. Thank you, TikTok. Thank you for TikTok's policies for not seeing hers and whatever it was that she didn't get banned for, but I got to enjoy it for free.
that reminds me, before we get into the predictions, I remember years ago there was some major. It actually might have been the Floyd Mayweather Conor McGregor boxing match, and someone was streaming it on Twitch, but he had an Xbox controller in his hand. So he kept moving. He kept moving his hands just to show that it's just him playing a video game. And I think it went through. I don't know whatever happened with that, but shout out to that guy. That guy's a legend.
Shout out to the hustlers giving back to the people for free.
Exactly.
All right, let's get into this prediction show. We kind of I said we were gonna start with it, but we diverted. But let's get into it. We have No Mercy. I didn't know where to actually. I know where to start. Josh Briggs, Javon Evans. I spoke about Briggs in the past. I kind of was not on board with Briggs, but now this obnoxious character that's coming into his own, I really enjoy. I think Javon really needs this too. I mean, Josh Briggs, people are going to hate him regardless. Maybe you pull the trigger on him so he gets more heat for being Javon in an unfair way. But I think Javon gets this. I think we lead into this, TNA invasion with Javon on the forefront of Team NXT. I think that Javon is going to go on, like we mentioned, to maybe fight Leon Slater for the X Division Championship if we do have this invasion happening and there is, title matches, cross-brand title matches. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Javon Evans.
So I'm going to go a different route.
Okay.
I believe when this was all happening with Briggs in the beginning, he had mentioned Total Impact and he was putting out live videos on X about him making an impact. And so I think this is the first match of the night, possibly, or this is going to be the first match where we see TNA get involved. I think Briggs ends up joining Team TNA in a way here, where someone from TNA comes out and helps Briggs. He ends up defeating Javon Evans, and I think that's where it all just starts. Like, all right, this is really a war between TNA and NXT, and Josh Briggs, who feels like he's been disrespected by NXT for months and months and months. I think Briggs ends up going to Team TNA.
Okay, Justin's cooking. He's already got his first defector.
I cannot wait for this whole storyline. I am so excited for this.
It's gonna be so fun to freaking watch. I wonder if it's gonna continue tonight. Like, what's gonna happen tonight on TNA? I'm hoping we see NXT just run rampant. I mean, I feel like Trick's got to be there just to be like, hey guys, I'm your champ. Don't be, running my territory either. You have to listen to me, and then maybe he gets jumped. I don't even know. I could see something like that happening. But yeah, I hope we see a first instance of defecting on this PLE, and I think that would be the perfect candidate. So I'm not too far from where you're at, Justin. I feel like Javon can come out strong with this one as just a lead for Team NXT.
Hey, I like being different sometimes, so I'm just gonna go fantasy book and sure. Yeah. Do I think Javon's gonna win? Yeah, probably. But I want to have let's fantasy book and let's get a little weird here.
I love it. I'm a fan. How about I'm gonna give this to you first. Weaponized steel cage match. Blake Monroe, Jordan Grace. How's this one panning out?
Blake Monroe. We spoke off air. I think we get a little bit of that Mariah May that we saw in AEW. I don't think we'll get it to the extent that we saw it in AEW, but I think we're going to go with Blake. And once again, I think we're going to see a little bit of, Jordan Grace. Kind of like there's going to be some backstage segments or something along the way with her just being confused. Obviously, she's with NXT now, but there's TNA superstars there. So I think we're going to see a little bit of Jordan confusion that can lead to her maybe leaning one way or the other throughout the weeks. But I got Blake Monroe.
I'm going to agree with Jordan. Sean here. He said Jordan has to get her win back. I agree. I think that this is the opportunity right here to go full AEW Mariah May. Show her what she has, because this is a weaponized steel cage match for a reason. I think they want to show the NXT universe what Blake Monroe has to offer and how, she might seem all pretty and glamorous right now with her gimmick, but that she can go. And I think if she goes down bloody and beat up, and like as a fighter, I think, it doesn't hurt her if she loses this. I think Jordan does need a win. And I want that third matchup between the two. Last woman standing, I quit, whatever it be. I think that's where we can see this escalate to. But yeah, I think we do see Blake Monroe in full AEW form where she's just bloody, enjoying it, like getting battered, using whatever weapons they have. Because to me, when I see that gimmick with it being a weaponized steel cage match, it's for a reason. And I think they realize that people want to see that version of Blake Monroe in NXT. So I think we're going to get that starting at No Mercy.
Yeah, no doubt. And even I have said the whole intro to Blake Monroe was kind of, I feel like she was held back. So I like you. Hopefully they let her just go crazy. Obviously, Jordan Grace is more than capable of holding her own, especially in a weaponized steel cage match. So this, I think, has the chance of being the match of the night.
Easily. Oh, I agree.
Easily.
Yeah. And I think there's a chance, Steven, that Jordan Grace can go heel. I think that right now, with her going head-to-head with Blake Monroe, I don't think it's going to happen now. But I think this invasion angle, and you mentioned it too, Justin, earlier, like this is an opportunity for maybe that to happen, for her to dig her heels with her TNA sisters and brothers that she, you know, was with prior to coming to NXT. So I think there definitely is a chance for that to happen. And Sean, right there, I agree with you. We've been talking about hopefully a draft for a while. Still hasn't shown up, but you know, maybe soon. I really want it. I love when the draft comes around, but you know, we'll see. So I'm gonna get into the NXT Women's Speed Championship. Sol Ruka, Lainey Reed. I feel like Sol Ruka right now is on another level. I don't think she loses this match. Is this the first time they're showcasing the Speed Championship on like an actual PLE? Is because I don't think it's been defended, even the men's one, on a PLE or a show before.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm not 1000% sure though, so I don't want to go out and put a yes or a no there. But I'll give my thoughts here first. We saw Jasmine Nix get removed, should we say, from Fatal Influence. It came out later. We've seen on X and through social media that they are not renewing her contract. She declined whatever they offered her, so she is going to be a free agent now. I see Lainey Reed joining Fatal Influence.
Okay.
And I see Fatal Influence helping Lainey Reed win that NXT Women's Speed Championship from Sol Ruka. So I am going with Lainey Reed.
Okay. I that could be a good possibility, but I think more if she's going to lose the championship, I can see Zarya turning. I know I was hoping for that a month or two ago. Didn't happen. You know, maybe they're better combined than they are separately. I don't know. But yeah, Steven, I'm right there with you. If Sol were to lose this match, I think Zarya would be the one to cost her. But right now, I don't know. I feel like NXT and WWE is really high on Sol Ruka, so I think she might end up retaining.
Yeah, I do think we need to get into Sol versus Zarya. It's been building up for that for a while, but maybe there's a mishap because Fatal Influence comes out and they try to help Lainey. Zarya misfires on Sol. That eventually, I guess, could be the thing that costs her the title, and then that leads to the final, like, we're done, we're gonna fight, we're gonna get this over with. But I have Lainey.
Yeah, and I mean, since this is for the Speed Championship, she can lose the Speed Championship, and her and Zarya can fight over the NXT Women's North American Championship.
Mm-hmm.
So it just writes itself there as well. So we can get into Ethan Page, Tavion Heights for the Men's North American Championship. How you feeling about this one, Justin?
Ego. It's got to be Ethan Page. I'm
Kill
sorry,
him with a smile. Kill him with a smile.
I'm sorry, Tavion. It's just no, it can't happen yet. I'm not allowing it to happen yet, unless they're ready to call Ethan up to the main card to be with Chelsea. I know Chelsea has put out on social media once again that she's looking to bring in someone else into the Secret Service. There's obviously Piper Niven is currently hurt. There's rumors about how serious it is. Hopefully she will be back in a ring soon, obviously heal up, but I would love to see Ethan get the call up to the main card, work with Alba Fire and Chelsea Green. Steven on YouTube says Ethan retains. Ethan versus Wagner Jr. coming up. Completely agree. Obviously you had Tavion acting and dressing like Wagner Jr. Wasn't him. But yeah, I don't see it happening for Tavion yet, especially after him winning the flag on a pole match.
And Sean says, who beats Ethan Page? No one beats Ethan Page. All ego, baby. No, I honestly think, in my eyes, if we're going to fantasy book this invasion angle, I think Ethan Page is the guy that everyone thinks is going to defect to TNA, but doesn't. He's the one that's like everyone's on edge about turning on them, but ends up not. And he's Team NXT through and through. But I think he loses it to a TNA guy, honestly. I think TNA will take that championship from Ethan Page. I don't know who, maybe Moose is that guy, unless they want Moose to go after the NXT Championship and go after Obafemi. But I think there's plenty of options. But in this match on this night, gotta be all ego. Ethan Page retains. Tavion, you're athletic. I think you'll get there. I think this program with Ethan's kind of pushing him with the charisma portion, the mic portion of it, because he does need it. But it's still an all ego era right now, so can't go wrong with our boy Ethan Page.
What a call by you that everyone's concerned that Ethan will be the one that jumps to TNA. Oh my, there's just so many intertwined aspects of TNA and NXT. That's why this is just going to be incredible. I legitimately cannot wait to see how this all plays out.
And Steven saying, guess me Miles Bourne beating Ethan could be a possibility. I just think if they're going full blown, we'll know tonight. I mean, if they're going full blown invasion, I think it's going to be TNA ripping titles away from NXT, and vice versa. I think the opposite can happen too. Like we said twice already, Javon Evans could be the next X Division champion for all we know. I mean, that would be insane. But I digress. Let's get into the NXT Women's Championship. We have JC Jane, Lola Vice. I'm going to say it again. A few months ago, we had call-ups. There were three women we mentioned that could carry this NXT Women's Division to the top, to the future. And one of them was Lola Vice. And I could see it happening. I know you see a possible new member, Justin, with Lainey Reed possibly, but I can also see the destruction of Fatal Influence happen that night, and Lola Vice can finally win the NXT Women's Championship and start her reign. And I don't know, man. She can defend that championship in AAA. I think they can bring that NXT Women's Championship global. I think that would help, not only her brand, the NXT brand, get more eyes on the product. If you have, the AAA fans then tuning in to see, look at the NXT, Lola Vice. We've seen her a few times. NXT Women's Champion. Let's go check her out on the CW or wherever it would show up, for them. But I don't know, man. I think Lola Vice has this in the bag. I think it's her time. I think we're seeing the downfall of Fatal Influence, and we're going to see a new NXT Women's Champion.
I don't hate it, but because of what I said earlier, by me thinking Lainey rejoins Fatal Influence, I mean, hell, it's straight there. Like, they have been pushing Lola Vice. Everyone knows that they've been pushing Lola Vice. I'm gonna go with JC Jane. I think we're gonna get and there's gonna be something funky. Maybe I don't know where they're gonna play out these matches in the match card. But yeah, for some reason I believe that JC is going to retain. I don't have a reason for it. I just feel it. So
every time we root against her, she proves us wrong, or if we root for her, she loses.
So one of us will be right. So
we're breaking the streak this week. All right, one of us will be right. And Sean says Kalani should have won the triple threat. I disagree, and I agree. When I mentioned months ago for the three women that we thought would be the future to carry this brand, it was Kalani Jordan, it was Jada Parker, and it was Lola Vice. I mean, any of those, they were in the triple threat together too. And we called that before that triple threat even happened. And I think any of the three of them have the capability to be NXT Women's Champion. I think they're all ready. I think we can see them trade that championship back and forth in the near future, especially after this invasion angle. So she lost that triple threat, but I think Kalani Jordan will be NXT Women's Champion in the future.
Yeah, no, 1,000%.
Last but not least, we have the NXT Championship between Obafemi, Ricky Saints. We're going to rewind a little bit to Tuesday night. NXT, TNA, brawling in the ring. Ricky Saints just struts up to that championship. Obafemi's big-ass hand coming up and grabbing the championship face to face. I got chills, man, because they don't give a shit about this NXT TNA war right now, because they're about to go to war. Justin, who do you think is coming out on top? Who's leaving No Mercy NXT champion?
It's a tough one. It is really a tough one. I'm gonna go with Ricky. I think Ricky, obviously clear as day. The camera shot was there to show that Ricky doesn't give a shit about anything else other than that NXT world title. You have Steven in the chat saying Oba retains, Oba versus Moose, either Bound for Glory or Halloween Havoc. I'm cool with it, but we've already seen it, so I don't want to see it again. I think that Oba ends up getting a call up. So now we're almost in October. Survivor Series is in November. There's going to be a War Games match coming up in November. Now, it's probably going to be the Vision plus one or two people, maybe Brock Lesnar. If they can talk Obafemi into it, it could just be a complete studly War Games match that we've never seen before. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Ricky Saints winning, Oba losing, and then Oba sooner rather than later getting a call up to help the Vision, and then you'll see Oba in that War Games match. That is going to be absolutely insanity.
I don't know, man. If Oba's getting a call up and Brock Lesnar is an active participant on the roster, I want them to strap the rocket on Oba, do what they should have done at Wrestlepalooza, and have Oba annihilate Brock Lesnar. You want a looming presence. You want the next big thing. That is Obafemi. I want him to run rampant on the main roster. I want him to either be the world champion or the WWE champion. I think he can skip the line. I think he can do exactly what they did with Brock Lesnar and go right for a world championship. The dude is ready. The dude's a beast. He's a monster. He can go. Like, he is so primed and ready. I think they need to, if they bring him up, send him to the freaking moon.
Well, you gotta slow play it. You
Nah,
can't just
not in this case, man.
no. You can't just rush into it. So I'm saying War Games. You have the Vision, you have Brock, you have Oba, same team trying to work together. You have the conflict inside of War Games with Brock and Oba. That starts building up the tension. You finally get to Oba versus Brock, but in the beginning, he can come up as a heel, absolutely, and then just inside that ring, you have Brock and Oba looking at each other. They're on the same team, sure, but that doesn't mean that they have to stay on the same team. Just one thing pisses one guy off and boom. Like, you can't just go right into Brock and Oba. Have them, slow play.
No, I wasn't saying go right into Brock and Oba, but I think that would be an awesome way to accelerate him even more by showing
absolutely.
his dominance by just manhandling Brock Lesnar.
Absolutely.
But as my pick, I mean, I think I'm gonna go Obafemi. I don't know, man. I have an inkling that Oba's still not done. He is the ruler for a reason, and I think he's going to be the person who's going to be leading NXT within this battle with TNA. So that's why I pick Obafemi. And still,
I think we've almost been different on almost every single match here. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing how NXT No Mercy plays out.
Bobby B. Blazin, Morning Boys. Where are you from?
Yeah, Bobby.
We're about to go to bed soon.
Yeah, I was about to say, Bobby, it is 8 p.m. and I have to eat dinner and feed my child and put my child to bed.
Change some poopy diapers.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah,
Australia, nice. I love it.
Love it.
You guys getting Perth? You guys getting Crown Jewels soon? I'm jealous. I'll be waking up at 5 a.m. for that shit like I did last time. Well, it was Backlash, right?
No, that was no, it wasn't Elimination Chamber.
Was it Elimination Chamber?
Yeah, it was Elimination
Maybe you're
Chamber.
right.
Yeah, definitely was. I'm almost positive. But thank you all for tuning in and joining us. Australia. Oh, I just saw that. But yes, thank you all for joining us for this prediction show, talking about Wrestlepalooza, talking about the man Matt Cardona. Love it. Cannot wait to see what happens with him. I think he's going to play a vital key in this whole invasion angle that might lead to a WWE contract. That's just me speaking out of my ass. guys. I'm not gonna get into the Masha allegations. I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna get into that.
Let's just wait to see what else comes out with that.
I'm not gonna touch it. But thank you all for joining us. It's been a blast. We are at the 50-minute mark. Thank all 108 of you for joining us. Let's ring that bell, because this podcast is over. I cannot wait to watch NXT No Mercy this weekend. I cannot wait to see who wins this, because usually you and I are on the same page, and this time I think the only page that we're on together is Ethan page.
Yeah.
So with that said, thank you all so much. Go and tune into our YouTube channel at the 10 Count Pod. It's actually our social for all social media platforms. Our interview with the Righteous is now available to the public, so please go check that out and let us know what you think. We are trying to plan a few more interviews for the future. I hope they all pan out. But until then, enjoy the weekend, and we will see you guys on Sunday.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.